just putting the finishing touches to my book, The Emotional Field, and it's quite hot here, so I'm going to take off my David Beckham jumper. Now, it really is a David Beckham jumper, which I acquired in H&M. It wasn't designed by David Beckham, and it wasn't even designed by his wife Victoria Beckham, but it said on the label that the jumper had been selected by David Beckham, and well, that was good enough for me, so I bought it. So I don't have anything to say today, so I thought we'd just sit in silence and listen to the birds. Of course, most of you now would have switched off, because apparently after about 30 seconds of YouTube videos, that's when 92 or 3% of people just disappear, because obviously the attention spans these days are very truncated, and it's very difficult for most people to focus, and I would include myself in that. It's almost like after about a few seconds of speaking, one needs to reconnect with that which one is saying. But this is the way of the world, and we are not going to worry too much about that. The point is that now most of you have buggered off, and it's just me. It gives me liberty to talk a little bit more, without fear of being trolled, about the emotional field, because a lot of people have been asking me, what is it? Well, I say a lot of people have been asking me, they would be asking me if they had read the book. So I do really need to explain what it is. And I'm not a verbal person, particularly. I tend to express my ideas through my work, through my writing, rather than through verbalising it, because words don't come easy to me. I find the whole idea of conversing and exchanging ideas verbally, and the whole kind of discourse thing, very difficult. I prefer to use my old manual typewriter and get my ideas out that way. So maybe I can explain the emotional field this way. Now obviously you can't see what I'm writing, so I'll speak it out as I write, and we'll see how we get on, and maybe that will explain everything. So, the emotional field is a force, a physical force, which is at the centre of our emotional lives. Okay, so the first problem is that it is a pseudo-scientific theory, which means that it's very difficult to evaluate whether or not the emotional field exists, and whether or not the emotional field is at the centre of your own emotional experience. It's hard to evaluate as to whether or not it really exists scientifically. And the second problem is that I conceived the theory of the emotional field while I was clinically insane. I say clinically insane because I believe the jury is out as to whether or not I was nutty enough. But you can't automatically equate the fact that I was mad when I wrote it, clinically mad, with the fact that that the work itself does not have value.